Let's now check in with the management of Welspun Corp. Vipul Mathur, the managing director and CEO of the company, now joining us. You'll wonder why we decided to get Welspun on the channel. So before I go to Mr. Mathur, let me tell you that Welspun will be one of the companies that could be impacted by this era of protectionism, the trade war that India finds itself in the middle of. US and China, the two world's largest economies, of course, increasing tariffs on one another. And we are caught right in the middle, as are the exporters of India Inc. Mr. Mathur, thank you so much for joining us here. We want to understand that with the US imposing duties on a whole host of products, which includes the large diameter welded pipes, what's going to be the impact on a company like yours? What percentage of sales of, will all of this makes up for Welspun, and how are you going to protect yourself from protectionism?
It was an expected move, and it has a very positive impact for Welspun. The reason why I say that, as you know, that Welspun has a huge manufacturing facility in America. We have more than 500,000 tons of pipe making capacity, comprising of a large diameter mill and a small diameter mill, along with the coatings and everything. So I see that this move will see to it that all the imports which were coming in from various countries and which was impacting the domestic production, this issue will get addressed. So I see a very higher capacity utilization and more margins coming up, or increased spread of margins coming up at that particular facility. So I'm seeing a great positive impact around it. As regards to your second question, that what percentage of sales, so at this point of time, as you know, we have an order book of 1.65 million tons, all valued at something like 11,400 rupees, out of which almost close to 400,000 tons, pretty close to 400,000 tons, is to be produced in US and to be supplied in US. So we have no impact on that. Number two, anything at this point of time in our balance order book, we have not. There's nothing which has to be produced in our Indian facility and has to be exported to America. So absolutely zero impact whatsoever.
So you stand to benefit because of your manufacturing facility in the US, and I think a lot of the other companies of India Inc., which have manufacturing bases in the US, will stand to gain. Plus, let's not even get started about the lower tax rate of 21%. But Mr. Mathur, do you think this is going to now engulf other countries? Europe is also following up with similar hikes. Do you have any exposure to, let's say, countries in Europe?
Whether it would be extended. This probe was started by ITC. It centered around 6 countries, and I think so they have made a determination around all the 6 countries at this point of time. At least in case of countervailing duty, they are still to make their determination with respect to anti-dumping duty. I have no idea whether this probe will be extended to other countries or not.
So, after the entire increase of 541% on duties, do you think that market will become unviable? What happens with the current orders, the processes that you already have from here? Will there be any order cancellations?
The orders which are booked in the American facility will see no impact whatsoever. There is business as usual. The orders which we are likely to book in for our US facility, I am pretty hopeful that we would see a larger spread of margins coming up, because the threat of imports minimum.
Right. Do you see any write-offs or order cancellation, a one-time impact because of this?
Nothing.
Right. So you and other players have facility outside India. I know you have said about the American facility. Do you think that will now be a big beneficiary because big realization benefits would come in?
As I said, we have a huge capacity in America, almost 550,000 tons of capacity. And that is what I would like to utilize to the maximum possible extent. As regards, because the imports which were coming from the other countries will get restricted. So I have a very strong feeling that our margins in our US facility will significantly.
Mr. Mathur, my final question to you before we wrap up this conversation. Do you see other markets where the opportunity is high? Supply capacity from the US where you can divert that, at least in the near term?
my feeling is that the U.S. market, the way the market is at this point of time, where there's a strong demand for oil, there's a, the prices are very firm. I think we would be very, very busy inside U.S. rather than, I don't think so. At least for the next 2-3 years, we probably would even get a chance to looking outside from U.S. I don't think so.
Well, Mr. Mathur, with that, I'd like to thank you. I think the message is quite clear, Pankaj. All the companies that have a manufacturing base in the United States, that's really going to differentiate them from the others.